Welcome to the Four Rooms podcast, where we explore the four rooms of entrepreneurship: health, wealth, scale, and relationships. Each episode is dedicated to opening new doors and uncovering insights that empower you to design your entrepreneurial journey to be both lucrative and fulfilling. And now, your hosts, Amber Spears and Brett Kaufman.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Four Rooms podcast. I am your host, Brett Kaufman, and I'm joined by my good friend, Keida. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be on this podcast.
Yes, and I'm excited to talk about what you do because it's Soulmate Customs. Let's go. I got it right. What you do is awesome. And like what I like is that I got to connect with you first before really understanding what you do. And then I got to like watch you for, I feel like now, well, let's see, we connected a little bit before November. So it's been like at least 6 months or a little bit
Wow.
less than that.
Yeah.
But even in that time, you just rocket ship. So this is going to be super cool to dive into.
Yeah, totally. For sure.
The first thing I want to dive into is tell people like, what is your business? Like, how did this thing even come to be?
Yeah. So we take people's pictures, we turn them into outlined art, so by hand, and then we embroider them or engrave them onto products like hoodies, sweatshirts. We engrave them onto keychains, a ton of jewelry products, and like lots of different variety of products. I started the business almost 4 years ago now, which is like so mind
Wow.
blowing, but I couldn't find a gift for my mom's birthday, and that's when the whole idea behind Soulmate Customs like came alive. So
I totally should have asked you, do you have something you can like hold up? If not, we can always get something later.
totally. I mean, right behind me, there's this canvas. It's like a bigger canvas that I just use for me and my mom, but we sell smaller canvases. We also do frames, but this is like, for example, it's a picture of me and my mom, and then we turned it into hand-drawn art, and then we put it on a canvas. So
And so I can also get a sweatshirt because I think you're doing something for us, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're making you guys keychains. We're also making you like either hoodies or sweatshirts. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So the person can get clothing, so t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, like you said, keychains, canvas. Is there anything else I'm missing that they could like get something on?
Yeah, blankets, teddy bears, lamps. There's like a pretty big variety so far, and we're only adding more.
That's so smart. So how, I guess for me, like if I'm coming to your website and trying to be like, is this gonna look good? I need to trust you guys can draw well. So how do you really nail that process down?
Totally, that's a great question. So first things first, we're very social media based, so everyone gets to see lots of people's orders, so they kind of get an idea of what they're getting. On top of that, we totally understand how it's like fully personalized, so it's still going to be different from what another customer orders because it's your photo. So we have an option on our website to approve your outline before it's embroidered or engraved, so you get to see your art before it actually goes into production.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And then from there, that's when I can ask for potential revisions.
Yeah, totally.
I love that. So it's like I don't have to get and be like, oh, this doesn't look what I want. I literally am involved the entire process.
Exactly, exactly.
So one of the things that so impresses me about you is that you've been able to scale this business from like using mostly organic, right?
Yeah, it's been, especially in our first year, we paid like $0 in ads. It's literally only been organic. And then for the next like 2, 3 years, now we're dealing with ads as well, but still organic is like very, very strong for us.
Yeah, that's how you're able to build a seven, soon to be eight-figure brand from doing that, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, soon to be amen.
Okay, let's go. So walk us through like your content creation, because as you know, we have a lot of our members, they run a lot of seven, eight, nine-figure ecom brands, and organic is a huge channel. So how'd you guys build such an empire from organic?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing for us has been that consistency in posting. So since when we started, we have been posting super consistently on all platforms. So we've been posting for the majority of our time around 5 to 7 posts per day. And it's really only been me creating content. Um, And that's kind of, I think that's like one of the most important factors that no matter what, even if you start a business and you have no social media experience, it's just that consistency of you constantly creating videos that you gain the experience. Because if you don't really know someone to like hire or become your partner to be in social media, or if you have zero experience, then you have to go from step A and just try something and do it and become consistent at it. And just after consistency becomes like professionalism. Same thing with everything, with all the best basketball players, with quite literally anyone, right? Everyone sucked in the beginning and then they become great once they didn't stop. You just keep on going and then you become really skilled. So
Yeah. By the way, do you like my super beat up Four Rooms water bottle?
I love it. I have the same one.
This is so dented. I use this everywhere, but it always drops.
Wow.
There's a big ass hole right there.
Wow, it really is. Wow, you've just like that just shows how much you've used that thing.
We're dedicated to the mission. So,
Wow.
so when I heard you say that, one of the things that immediately went to my mind was like, wow, how do you even come up with a system and the time to post, to record, and then post five to seven times a day? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, it's a lot. And for me, I have this rule that I say all the time. At this point, it's become like a popular thing amongst like people who know our business. But I have a rule with content creation. If it takes me more than 10 minutes, I'm going to skip to the next idea. Because in
Ooh.
order for us or like me in content creation to create so much content, and I'm the only person who's doing the content, well, in majority, I have to be super efficient at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I've kind of just become skilled at getting ideas on the whim, like in a click, and then, finding the right sound super quickly, finding whatever order that was engraved or embroidered, and kind of matching those two, and then finding the content idea and putting it to fruition. So it's kind of like experience that has got me to like now only force myself to not take more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, which I love that. But for someone that is not as skilled as pulling it at a whim, like how, at the very beginning, how are you creating the ideas so someone can start getting organized?
Well, I would for sure say if you're a beginner, okay, let's say 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. If something's taking you longer than that, depending on, of course, your branding. If you're like more of a luxury brand, you're gonna want like better quality content because you really want to show that luxurious part of it.
Yeah.
But if you're something like a smaller business or like a product that's not necessarily luxury, then you can go off with creating videos like we do that are really quick, short videos and that are fun and funny and show like customers' experience. They show like what's happening behind the scenes. It shows like with your team and your staff, like the vibes in the office and things like that.
Okay, that makes sense. And then, are you like from the very beginning, were you the one that was like actually making the video, then posting it?
Yes, yeah, from the
Wow.
beginning up until now. So now we're trying to find like social media assistants that are helping and kind of taking at least half of the work off my shoulders. So like we're 50% scheduling and then 50% posting manually as well. So just
Mm.
trying to change strategies and see what's working. I'm like in the middle of that currently.
Yeah, because I can just foresee the person that's at that seven trying to get to eight, and they're also a big content creator, but that probably takes up a ton of their time.
For sure.
And automation is so popular, but also it's like it sounds like your great ideas can just come at a whim, and then you're like, let's create that. So do you block off creation time and kind of train your brain to be like, this is when we're juicy right now?
Oh yes, for sure. So every single day it changes because I'm trying multiple strategies, but usually my go-to is every single day I schedule no meetings, no nothing. There's like content creation time from 9 a.m. up until 12 p.m. And then
Mm.
after 12 p.m. and on, I can deal with meetings, I can schedule anything I want. But that's like my strict time to content create. But that differentiates because now that we have content creators like in-house, we have one person who's like helping currently. We do like 2 content days. So the entire day, both days are filled with just content creating. And then we have enough for the week and we can move on to other things, other tasks that we can do.
Wow. And how did you find which platform performs the best for you?
Testing, just like constantly testing and also seeing where your audience is. So for us, we do Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook. Those are all platforms that we use. Our top platforms are Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. All four of those do incredible for us. So even for other business owners, I say this all the time, but a lot of people don't use Snapchat and YouTube. It's really big. They're
When
huge
you,
and they're like pushing people a lot.
when you say YouTube, YouTube Shorts, or are you creating long form videos?
Shorts. I don't know. I haven't
Yeah.
really hit the long form key there. Like I don't know what's going on. We've posted before long form. They just don't really pay off as quickly as shorts pay off.
And are you split testing? For example, you find a video, then are you like changing the hook for a future one, or is every video pretty much a new idea?
Usually it's a new idea, but if something works, then we're going to take that concept and reuse it again with another person's order.
Wow. This is what's so fascinating about what you do, because it's like there's a million different ideas you can come from. And I'm just really thinking of that person that doesn't have a ton of time to create content, which the silly thing is if it's working, you'll create more time to do it. So I
Right.
just hear that automation AI voice in their mind being like, no, I'll just delegate it. It's like, no, no, if this is driving your revenue, you've got to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, organic, I'm like the biggest fan of organic just because of the fact that it's like zero cost, right? Zero cost, like it's not like paid ads, but of course, if you're hiring a content creator, then it has its own cost, but it's much, much, much less. I feel like paid media is like a form of gambling. It's like a constant fight. It's tough. It's a whole other monster. And then
Yeah.
organic is a whole other monster in itself. So
So, because you are starting to ramp up your paid side as well, have you found some of your organic posts like are working or not working on the paid side?
yeah, there are organic posts that work, but the thing that we've realized is that with paid media, you want to be more salesy. With organic, you don't want to be salesy. People hate
Interesting.
salesy things. Yeah. So like even with content creation, now we're shifting onto also creating separate content just for ads. So it's the more selling, pushing type ads.
So, what I'm now very curious about is now you're in the real scaling phase. When you were just going from six going to seven, what is a piece of advice that you wish someone told you at that stage that would have gone through a lot of the hiccups you incurred?
Mm, it's a good question. Um, I would say, I know I say this all the time, but like one big hiccup, because it really was such a big hiccup. That's why I say it all the time, but hiring too fast.
Oh,
Yeah, we hired way too fast and it just like spent so much money, like overhired. And then like we had our own issues of like me, for example, not being a good enough like leader to like really show them hire the right people. Number one, culture fits. Like that was
yeah.
just a mistake on my part. And also like leading them on exactly like what they're supposed to do. There was a lot of mistakes on our part. So, but they're all lessons learned.
I mean, that's great. So, like you said, hire too fast. Is that because you anticipated you need more hands, or that you didn't vet, or you didn't maybe know your culture as well? Like, what? Walk me through that more.
I think both. I had this mentality of like, in order to scale, you need more people, which is true. Absolutely, you do need more people, but you have to know exactly who you want to hire and what you want to hire them for.
Yeah.
Because before I just didn't have much experience with it. So I'm like, I would expect people to come in and I would just be like, okay, go ahead, bring me value. It doesn't work like that. I
No.
quickly learned it does not work like that, right? Like you have to work 10 times harder than every person that you're hiring and be 10 steps ahead than every person that you're hiring as well. And showing them like what they're supposed to do, like, and then of course with their expertise as well. If you hire someone that's an expert rather than training from scratch, then that's a different story. But yeah, I'm just kind of learning along the way. There's so many learning curves, but you're going to
Totally.
fail. You're going to learn, right? So we look forward to the failures.
And also the fact that the person's not going to love your business as much as you love your
Totally.
business.
Yeah, totally.
So now, though, like you're at the stage where you're trying to attract and attracting A-list players. So how do you get someone in your business that's excited? So I'm thinking of that e-com store that's also in that scaling stage. Like, how are you structuring potential compensation or incentives to get them to be like, wow, I really want to be a part of this?
Yeah, that's such a great question because it's currently what I'm dealing with. Like, what do I have to do different to attract A players, right? And what I've learned is you really have to go through like a tough interview process. So like for us, we have the person who's reaching out, who's like really scanning the resumes. Usually it's either me or like one of our office assistants who's really scanning the resumes. And then we submit calls. The first level of interviews is like with one of our team members, but it's recorded with Fathom, if you know Fathom.
Yeah.
Yes, it's recorded with Fathom. So then I look at the recording after and I see, okay, are they what we're looking for culturally? Like how, if they're humble or if they're, kind and, whatever it is. And then if we like them, we go through like another step of interviews, which is with me, and then the in-person interview. And we go through more steps to make sure that whoever we're hiring is like, there's this quote that says, hire slow, fire fast.
Yeah.
And I'm really trying to go with that. So, and one thing
Easier said than done.
Totally. No, for sure.
Yeah.
But one thing that I recently learned, it was actually from Layla Hermosi. I listened to her religiously every single day. And one thing that I learned from her is when she was saying, always call. I think it wasn't actually from her. It was from someone else. They were saying always call the references in people's resumes.
Why not?
Would definitely. And I never have done that. For the past 3 years, I've never done it before. So then I started calling references and I really understood, okay, like the people that I'm calling, are they okay with, like, you can see the vibe between who you're talking to. If they want to, if they're not comfortable, or when you're also interviewing the person. And if they actually are open to giving you references or not. Like, I feel like it shows a lot. So that's one thing that I learned.
What I'm very curious about is a lot of e-com stores, what got them here may not get them there. So how are y'all constantly innovating? Because I'm sure at the stage you're at, there's people creating similar offers and now there's a lot more competition. So what are you doing to stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah, another great question. You have such great questions.
Pay me the big bucks.
I think my mom always says the same thing. She says constantly, she has this 30-degree like concept that she constantly tells me. And everything that you do, you constantly shift 30-degree, 30-degree, 30-degree until you find the perfect fit on what happens for you. You have to stay on top of like the curve of everything that's happening. So when you get updated, for example, I have like newsletter notifications, or like I'm on social media all the time as well. So whenever there's a new trend happening or a new feature that's happening, you have to, as you said, stay ahead of the curve and like hop onto it as soon as possible. A lot of those features will not even blow up, but a lot of them will blow up. So for example, TikTok Shop, whoever got there as soon as possible, they're like milking the life out of TikTok Shop, right? There's so much opportunity with it. And there still is so much opportunity, but yeah, I think that's what it is. It's like constantly being on the loop, knowing what's happening, and like head into it head first, as soon as possible.
Are you finding that also translates to popular events in the media? Like, for example, the Oscars. Like, if you created content around the Oscars, do you see a spike with pop culture?
100%. 100%. We don't do it enough, but every time that I ever had like the time, for example, when there's something trending and I hop onto it, like there's Oscars or there's like anything else that's trending, we create memes with it or we create videos with it that have to do with it. There's always a spark. That's a great point. Yeah.
That's good for other e-com brands to know, like, hey, here's great things you can jump on.
For sure.
What I'm curious about is, do you ever see yourself stepping back from content creation and focusing on a different area of the business?
I don't think I would ever step back fully, but for sure take like 2-3 steps back so that I can focus on other things. Like I have fallen in love with operations. I love it. I love building systems. I love building teams. Like it's actually a genuine passion of mine. So that's why this year we're focusing so much on building a content creation team. I know it's going to take a while because it's not just hiring 2 content creators in office. It's like if you want to build a social media empire with all the experience that you've gained and everything you know, there's so much more to just two content creators. There's creators that you can hire like that are remote. There's affiliate world that is like completely different that you guys are pros on, but that's a completely different world. And there's so much more to organic marketing. So I think that I love it. I love marketing, and I'm for sure going to continue because it is a passion of mine, but I definitely like want to build a team so that I also have time to be doing other things as well.
So do you have to create a system to transfer your wealth of knowledge? Because I'm sure so much of this is subconscious. That I mean, I know for me, when I train someone on some of the stuff I do, it's like frustrating. I'm like, how do you not know this? I realize, oh, it's baked into my head. I'm not even explaining it to them. So how have you worked through that?
For sure. I'm in the middle. I'm in the midst of everything you're talking about. So if I want to hire a social team and scale and like, I learned recently, again, from Leila Hermosi, as a leader, you have to be a really good teacher. And when I heard that, it completely shifted my mentality. Like your job as a leader, as a CEO or as a founder of a company, you have to teach other people really well. So with that, I've learned now, like I'm trying to dump everything that I have in my brain to all of our team members that we have. So I'm creating like content pillars, content calendars, and seeing how that goes. But I think with the content pillars of splitting, okay, if we want to post 10 times per day, then out of those 10 times per day, it's going to be like 3 videos of like the Keida videos that are the usual that perform. Then there's going to be like 2 office videos of just like the vibes, the team, you know, things that are in-house. And then there's going to be others, right? There's going to be the graphic designs, there's going to be the customer and like hype posts and things like that. So I split them into pillars so it's more understanding for a person that we hire.
And that makes so much sense. And that, it's ever evolving and changing, like you're saying. So sure. I'm very curious. I want to shift into your experience of being in the right rooms, because there is annoyingly a trend where people are like, oh, I can just like learn everything virtual, or I can just like do my own thing. But like for me and my wealth has come from being in the room and learning from people. And you got to experience one of our events the first time back in November. Can you tell people about that?
Yes, I would love to tell people about that. I mean, I was in the same page where I've just been building out this business alone. Of course, not fully alone. Like I've been with my mom is the co-founder. My brother's always here and he's also a co-founder in the business. But it's definitely like our bubble. And it's just us 3 communicating along with our team. And it just feels super, super isolating. So then once I went to one networking event, that kind of like changed my entire life. And then you guys were actually my second networking, like it was a whole event with like 3 days and it was incredible. I know because I came with my brother, right? And we were laughing because in the first day it was so intimidating. There was people that were much wiser than us, much older than us, and much more successful than us, like much, much more successful than us. And we had an incredible time. Like we've learned so much. There's so many things that we learned about the business and advice that we got from people. I think it's really, really important to meet other people that are in business and get their advice and their expertise with all of their experience that they've had. I think it's super important because you only have like a capacity or imagination of like what you're usually used to. So when you're out asking other people that are already successful at what they do, they give such great advice. We had such a great weekend.
Good. I love that. Is there a golden moment, a takeaway that you had that was tied into like a revenue result?
Let me think. There was so many things that we implemented, but if there's one specific one, I can't think of anything specific. I know I made so many notes and I'm sure there's a lot of things that I implemented, but I can't connect something that I'm like, oh, exactly this person told me and I implemented it.
Cool. So what's good, and also this part of the podcast, like this is good because I'll chop this up a bit into like content. So that's why I'm kind of prompting you this way. So for someone that's like listening, you can tell we're just speaking like freely. If someone that's listening, what would you like describe to them? So I guess the question I'm trying to ask is like, for someone that's never been to an event, thinking about coming to an event, can you describe like the caliber of the people or the energy, things of that nature?
How would you like me to describe it?
Well, authentically, one, but like two, it's like the caliber of the people there. So our average person there is like 8 figures, and the whole idea is that people in the room, they all come from a place of giving. Like the expert table is like the big feedback we always get is people's eyes light up when they understand the expert part and how their entire schedule is customized.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can share any insights you had around that, so a person's like, oh shit, I never realized how custom this is to me. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah. You wanna re-say the question and then I'll go ahead and answer?
Sure. Let me think how I'm gonna phrase it.
Okay.
Okay. One of the biggest pieces of praise we hear at Four Rooms is people constantly talking about how their entire schedule was customized to get them the exact result that they want, and the in-depth intake forms to really understand their business, who they are, and the outcome they're looking for. Can you walk people through what that experience was like for you?
I think it was incredible. I mean, in the very beginning, before we went to the event, we had to fill out like the longest forms. And even though we were like, what the hell is happening? Like, why is the form so long? We understood that literally you guys make it so personalized where you're speaking to the right people at every moment. And on top of that, you also have moments where you can just literally go up to any expert you want and speak to them, which I think is incredible. And the greatest thing about it is there was no separation between, well, everyone in the room, first of all, was successful. So there's nothing to separate between like experts and normal people, because even the normal people that were there, they're already super successful. But it was just literally like a retreat, like a literal retreat of like a room filled with highly successful people. And you just get to dump each other's brains, into each other and like learn from each other's experience and like genuinely create relationships and friendships. I think that was the coolest thing about the event.
Awesome. We appreciate that. So moving into my favorite segment, it's the last question. It's called One Hot Minute. Now, what One Hot Minute is let's say someone just tuned in to the 60-second blurb, and you're going to think about whether it's a piece of advice, a mantra, a belief that you go to when skies can get cloudy that helps you get through tough times. So if you need a second, take a second and let me know when you're ready, and we'll put 60 seconds on the clock and then we'll let it rip.
I'm ready.
Cool. Ready, go.
So my favorite mantra that I always go back to every time that I'm feeling overwhelmed or down is no one legendary ever became legendary without an incredibly tough time. An incredibly tough like story, right? So every time that I'm feeling down, I just go back to that. And I think that if I'm feeling overwhelmed right now, it's because I'm quite literally growing. This is growth. So yeah.
I love that. That's a great one.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, as we wrap up, where can people find you?
Yeah, so my personal Instagram is Keida, Keida02. Same thing on TikTok as well. And then our business account, if you guys want to check out our business, it's Soulmate Customs on all platforms.
Amazing. Well, you're an absolute stud. We're so grateful you're in our community. We're so grateful you joined us on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
As we wrap up today's episode, we have something special just for you. If you've been inspired by what we've explored today and you're ready to take your learning to the next level, then our Four Rooms Mastermind live event is the perfect next step. And because you're a part of our podcast family, we're offering an exclusive 10% discount on your registration when you apply and are accepted. This is your chance. It's your chance to build relationships with other ambitious entrepreneurs like yourself, to dive deeper into the 4 rooms of entrepreneurship, and to connect with experts who can truly help accelerate your growth. Simply follow the event link in the description of this episode and use the promo code 4rooms10. That's FOURROOMS10 on your application to claim this opportunity. This offer is subject to application approval and it's limited, so don't wait too long to make your decision. Join us and transform your journey with the insights and networking that only our live events can offer. Thank you for tuning in today. We look forward to seeing you at the event and, of course, right back here next time on the 4 Rooms podcast. Until then, keep balancing and keep growing.